I'm a senior lecturer in the University of Ghana, Legon. I'm also a visiting professor in Warwick University in the UK and a visiting professor in Stellenbosch University in South Africa. Are you healthy? Please, those of you who think you are healthy, I want you to raise your hand for me. I want to use it for something. Are you healthy? Are you healthy? Are you healthy? Okay. I want you to raise your hand if you believe and if you think you're healthy. Raise your hand. If you are not sure at all that you are healthy, don't raise your hand. Because I want to use these statistics to tell you something. Are you healthy? Okay. Raise your hand or type yes. Okay, raise your hand or type it. Are you healthy? Do you think in your heart of hearts that you are very healthy, strong, fantastic, wonderful? Okay, you are fantastic. Your parents are strong. You are healthy. Are you? And I'm not talking about if you are taking a medicine, then you are not healthy. Okay. It's not about medications. Okay. So are you healthy? All right. So the few people that are saying that they are healthy, I can see you all. Those who are not sure, I want to share something with you. Something happened this morning, and this is what happened. A friend of mine called me and told me about a damaging remark about his family member who just died. And the family member died within 1 hour. Actually, it was 50-something minutes. The family member died when he was spoken to yesterday. He was looking so good, went to have dinner together in the evening. And yet the family member died this morning. He spoke to the person, slept with the person. And in this case, the person has a wife, and the wife said, oh, we prayed together, we slept, woke up together, and died 1 hour later. The person was not sick. He wasn't sick. And normally on Sundays, the person will even go and play football. So this was when he was preparing to go and play the football. He died within just about 56 minutes. No sickness. Why? Why? I have seen this year, and that is why I had to do this emergency training. I have seen this thing this year almost 7 times. 7 times this year, people between the ages of 14 and 42 died. 7 people. Okay. I have seen closest. Why? Are you healthy? Ladies and gentlemen, something is happening around the world and a lot of people ignore it. And as long as people ignore such things, dangerous things can happen to people. There is the hustle and bustle of life going on. So much things are buzzing. You know, for example, tomorrow, on Monday morning, tomorrow, the heart attack rate will rise by 35%. It has already started today because people are already under pressure, preparing to go to work tomorrow. And that pressure releases some hormones, which I'll be talking about. And so the person is already on the verge. And these things begin to build up over the years, and eventually we kill ourselves. So today I'm going to discuss just 2 things that are called the silent killers. The first thing that is known as the silent killer is stress. And the second thing that is known as the silent killer is cardiac arrest. I'll be dissecting this. And some of the videos I'll be showing you are quite revealing to let you know that every single person on this planet can die easily, and you're going to see real life death, okay, easily from these 2 problems because people do not take them seriously. But before I do that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to share a video with you. I just want you to please watch this video.
We usually make a distinction between acute stress, chronic stress, and stress leading to burnout. Acute stress is the instinctive reaction to an impulse or trigger, for instance, when you're startled, or you have exam stress, or there's an imminent deadline, a near accident, or when you're winning a game. Now, this is the most common form of stress. It's perfectly normal, and it will go away as soon as its cause disappears. Chronic stress is caused by resistance, by not accepting events that go on in your life. Even when there is no specific trigger, it will continue to bother you. It's a typical human phenomenon, often about matters that you cannot do anything about, for instance, fretting or being nervous for a presentation that is due 3 months from now, general anxiety, fear of failure, clashing with the corporate culture, the general economic crisis, a general feeling of insecurity, a chronic illness, and so on. Burnout is the result of a longer period of energy loss due to chronic stress and is often characterized by exhaustion and reduced flexibility. But stress is not always bad news. Positive stress, call it task tension if you will help you lift your performance to a higher level. You will need that form of stress to stand out from what is average, for instance, when delivering a presentation. However, trying to stand out permanently and always being on top of things is exhausting, to be avoided at all cost. Stress. What does it do to my body? Initially, our brain does not make the difference between a potential and a real threat. Everything we identify as fear causes the same physical reaction. A small portion of our brain, known as the amygdala, rapidly produces two stress hormones, adrenaline and cortisol. Both are vital to boost our performance and to master the situation. In fact, your body is preparing itself to face two primitive reflexes, the fight or flight reflex. Picture this. You're hiking in the mountains with your family, and as you walk by one of those typical farmhouses, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a big, barking dog comes running towards you. You can do two things. Run away from the dog, or try to chase it away by shouting, stamping your feet, and frantically waving your arms. To do all of this, your hands and feet need extra energy.
All right. So I want to just pause here. We are almost through. So here's the thing. So many people are stressed, and this stress is known as chronic stress. I'll talk about it. Okay. So first, I want us to define what is stress. And I want to, by the time I finish the definition, we go through it, ask yourself whether you have chronic stress. Acute stress is fine. Everybody can have acute stress. It happens just some few hours or few minutes, and that's it. What is stress? What is it? Ladies and gentlemen, stress is called a silent killer. It's involuntary. You cannot control it. It's a reflex action. It is emotional, it is physical, it is psychological, it responds to a stressor. Now, a stressor, and I'm going to show you some of these stresses. A stressor is inside your body, but more importantly, is inside your head. Now, we've already seen that there are good stress, but that is just happening, in a few minutes. But the most dangerous one is chronic stress. Chronic stress is bad. If you find yourself, sometimes people say, I'm so busy. That is the beginning of stress. And guess what? Which age group experience the most stress? Who can tell me? Is it those in their 10s, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, or 70s? And this is from the World Health Organization. Which age group do you think experience the most stress? Please give me the answer. Okay, just type me the answer. Is it those in their 10s, in their 20s, in their 30s, in their 40s, in their 50s, or 60s, or 70s? Which age group experience the most stress? What do you think? Which age group? Which age group? Okay, which age group? Somebody says 20s. some said 30, some said 40. Which age group do you think experience the most stress? You know, when you don't know. Okay, when you don't know, that is when you don't take action. Okay, because knowledge gives you the ability to control actions outside. Okay, so Titi says 40. Ladies and gentlemen, the people who experience the most stress in this world are those in their 20s. Those in their 20s experience the most stress, and a lot of them don't even know. They don't even believe it that they experience the most stress. Okay, and the reason will be categorized, as we move on. So stress is a very, very important thing, but chronic stress is a dangerous thing. These are some of the stresses. These are the things that cause the stress. And if these things prolong over time, something will happen, which I'll come back to it. Okay. So those who are concerned about their health, they are stressed usually. Those who have a presentation to make every day in the job place. If you are in a family where there are always conflicts, arguments between husband and a wife, arguments between parents and children, there is chronic stress in that family. If you always have deadlines to meet, that is why sometimes it's advisable that you are in control of your life instead of a job or something controlling your life. Because if you have to meet deadlines all the time, you are in the world of chronic stress. And somebody will say it's normal. It's not normal. I'm come to show you the dangers of that. If you have, a list that is never ending, okay, never ending list, okay, then you are in that problem. Okay. If you have devices that continuously want stuff from you, okay, devices, okay, like cars, like mobile phones, like social media, these things increase stress problem. If you have relationship issues, that would lead to more stress. Okay. And if you want that, if you have that pressure you want to achieve, a competitive spirit in a job, in a school, or anywhere, okay, and if you have a lot of demanding social life, you are in the world of chronic stress. It's no more acute, it's now chronic. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to show you the signs of what causes stress, because once you appreciate the signs, it will help you to know the danger that a lot of people are causing themselves. When you are under mental or emotional stress, as you see on the picture, your sympathetic nervous system, what it does is that it sends a signal to your hypothalamus, which is up there. Okay, it sends a signal from within you to your hypothalamus. Now, the hypothalamus is located in the brain. Now, the hypothalamus will now release a hormone, and this hormone is in short called CRH, a hormone. The hormone is known as corticotrophin releasing hormone. And this hormone will activate something that is known as the pituitary gland. It's a very, very interesting gland that will release another hormone called ACTH. Now, listen, the ACTH, okay, and the full name for the ACTH is adrenocorticotropic hormone. Okay. Now, that ACTH, what it does is that it will stimulate the adrenal cortex, which you see in the picture here. Okay. It will stimulate adrenal cortex so that adrenal cortex will release something that is known as cortisol. And this cortisol is actually the major hormone that release response that leads to what is known as stress. See, if you understand, the process takes time. And by the time it gets to that cortisol level, it has destroyed 7 elements in the human body. What is funny is that the cortisol is now known to increase blood sugar level. Now, when we talk about blood sugar level, we are talking about diabetes. So remember, you are getting cortisol being released in your body, okay, as a result of what is known as the prolonged stress. Now that will ginger or increase the blood sugar level, and is now known to also increase the blood pressure. And so when a person is put under prolonged stress, What it means is that that person will by all means develop diabetes. It's a matter of time. That person will by all means develop what is known as high blood pressure. Now, later on, when you learn some of this stress and how it's the epinephrine, okay, and all the other accoutrements that go with it, now even make the thing even worse. Ladies and gentlemen, until what you know becomes what you do, you don't know anything. You don't know anything. Now, let's look at some of the dangers of the stress once a person now begins to have them. The dangers are so serious, this long-term stress. You will now have your flow in your body will begin to decrease. Your pupil, the eye, the pupil of the eye will begin to dilate. So over time, you see that you don't see things well. And what happens is that it doesn't matter whether you are young, you will not see things well. Your skin will have a problem. There will be blood vessels that will constrict in the skin. Okay? You will get a lot of sweating in the skin. The lungs will have a problem called deep breathing. Okay? So now you have to be doing a lot of deep breathing. Your heart will beat faster and harder. Your stomach will have a problem, which is known as digestive enzymes that you need to be able to cause digestion to flow. The digestion begins to now decrease as a result of what? Of the cortisol, the stress that is increasing. The bowel will start having a problem. So your food movement will slow down, all caused by the stress. You will become more tense, okay, and trembled most of the time in the way you behave. And your blood pressure will increase, full stop. And that is the critical thing, because then you are moving towards a level of hypertension there. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to begin to now ask yourself whether you have stress in your body. And if you're probably thinking, I don't think I have it, just hold on and watch something. How do you handle the stress? Okay. One of the ways to handle them is to adopt a proper diet. Okay, so get a good diet. I'm telling you, a lot of people don't eat good food. Even most rich people don't have time to eat good food. Eat good food to streamline your immune system and stabilize your mood. The second thing is to increase your exercise. Research shows that Africans do not do exercise, okay? And North Americans, okay, just a few people, in fact, research shows that 14% of them are those who are doing exercise. Majority of people don't do the exercise. Get enough sleep. Get enough sleep. You're about to die, okay? You're not sleeping, see your face. Get enough sleep, because that is going to now handle the stress problem that you have. And practice what is known as mindfulness or meditation. And give yourself treat every week. Every week, treat yourself out. Treat yourself out, because when you become sedentary, it even increases the stress level. So those are the things you have to do. Okay? Breathe through your nose every day and breathe out through your mouth. Okay? Do that 15 times. 15 times. Breathe through your nose. So through your nose, you breathe in. And then you let it out, not through the nose, but through the mouth. This will control that stress level. But I've not come to the dangers, and you're come to see some things. Okay? And then deal with stress in the way you're supposed to deal with it. Okay? So you're not supposed to always sleep in the bedroom. You're not supposed to always sleep in the bedroom. You have to sleep outside the bedroom occasionally, because your brain is wired in such a way that you're not going through stuff. I want you to watch this. Okay? This is a very serious thing, because I'm about to tell you what the stress leads to. Please note, this is a warning about what you're about to see. This is a real life situation about somebody who experienced the consequences of stress. Now watch.
Is there anything else? something when you breathe in. Okay, now. So keep the chest compressions here. Okay, keep them going. Okay, now. Yeah, it's just walking across the room.
Mark, have you got his head held on that?
No,
I would say his circulation looks pretty dull. His head.
it's fine.
All right, so this gentleman was resuscitated thanks to the CPR, but I want you to go back and watch what happened, okay? Because I'm about to discuss something very important, ladies and gentlemen, regarding the consequence or one of the effects of stress. Watch carefully. They were playing, and watch how he moved backwards without him realizing. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has different names, but today I'm going to just show a few of these and then explain each one of them. It is known as cardiac arrest. But before cardiac arrest can happen, ladies and gentlemen, there's something that is known as cardiomyopathy. Cardiomyopathy. What is cardiomyopathy? Now, cardiomyopathy is that constant disease of the myocardium. Okay, the myocardium is that heart muscle that you have. And in most cases, the heart muscle will weaken or it will become thick. You know when something is very thick. And when something is thick, what it means is that thing is not able to pump the blood that is supposed to pump to the rest of the body. Okay. And when that continues, that is known as cardiomyopathy. So cardiomyopathy is what causes cardiac arrest. Especially if you have a heart failure, then it causes it faster. But there's one particular cardiomyopathy, okay, which you see on the screen, and this is known as hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. And that mostly causes the heart-related sudden death in people under the age of 30. Under the age of 30. So, and I'm going to show you children who have had this before, and many of them have died. It's not an older related generation thing. It is also for children. For example, according to the American Heart Foundation, okay, all the ages that were considered, 356,000 people had this problem. Adults were 347,000. Children under the age of 18 were 7,000. So children can have cardiomyopathy, can have cardiac arrest. And most of these cardiac arrests happen in the home. In fact, 92% of the cardiac arrests that we know in the world occur in the home. And when it occurs, people are not even aware. In fact, it's so shocking that it can even happen when you are sleeping. It can happen when you are eating. It can happen when you are driving. And what do we mean by it can happen when you are driving? What does that mean? So here's the thing. Cardiac arrest is a sudden cardiac death. And it happens so suddenly without any warning. The heart will stop. So I can be talking right now to you and all of a sudden, my heart will stop. And it will stop because of that disruption in the electrical system. I will collapse. There will be no pulse and there will be no breathing. And that's it. And in Africa, most of the time, you can see that with this one that happened here, there was an emergency group of people who have hypermetropic defibrillator, okay, invertible defibrillator. So the moment they brought the defibrillator, the gentleman CPR was sustained. They were able to sustain him. But in most African, we don't have these things in many places. And so by the time you call the ambulance or you use the car and move the person to the hospital, the person is gone. Now there's a difference between cardiac arrest and heart attack. And sometimes people actually miss the two. Heart attack happens as a result of heart failure. And that normally happens very gradually. In fact, you might even have the heart failure for years before you even notice that you have the symptoms. But cardiac arrest, it just happens, okay? And I'm going to show you some footballers who have had that. It happens immediately. And I'm going to share with you, ladies and gentlemen, what is driving this cardiac arrest and this heart attack that a lot of people are ignoring, okay? So that is the difference between cardiomyopathy. Cardiomyopathy causes cardiac arrest, and cardiac arrest is sudden, and in most cases, the person will die. I want you to please watch this before I tell you the causal factors.
What is sudden cardiac death? This is what a healthy heart looks like as it pumps blood through the body. This rhythmic pumping action is the heartbeat, and this is controlled by the heart's electrical system. In some patients, there is a problem with the heart's electrical system, and the heart suddenly starts beating so fast that it quivers or shakes instead of pumping blood to the body and brain. When this happens, the patient can collapse and die suddenly. This is called sudden cardiac death, also known as SCD. It occurs without warning. Some people confuse sudden cardiac death with a heart attack, but they are not the same. A heart attack is caused by a blockage that stops blood flow and the oxygen supply to part of the heart. Within a short time, these cells start to die, causing damage to the heart. With a heart attack, a person may feel severe chest pain or other symptoms, but usually remains conscious. Sudden cardiac death, however, occurs without warning and without the person feeling any signs that something is about to happen. With sudden cardiac death, you suddenly fall unconscious and will not be able to call for help. It may even happen while you sleep. The Life Vest can protect you from sudden cardiac death by delivering a treatment to restore your heart's normal rhythm. With the Life Vest, the monitoring is constant, the protection is immediate, and you...
So this Life Vest, I don't even want to talk about it because many people won't have them. Many rich people don't even have them now in their homes. Okay? And remember, this is something that happens even when you are the best footballer. As we speak, over 12,000 footballers have died. Okay, and I'll be showing you one of them whose death was so, who was just saved, but the death was almost imminent. Okay, so you need that Life Vest, but unfortunately, in most African countries.
What is sudden cardiac death?
Okay, so what causes this cardiac arrest or sudden cardiac death? What causes that? And if you see many people in many parts of the world, when they see somebody just fall down, you know what people do? They rather run away from them. You know that? When you see somebody fall down right now on the street, instead of people getting to help the person, they rather run away. Some people think the person has epilepsy. They run away. But they don't know that that could be cardiac arrest, which is just sentencing the person to death. So for now, let's look at the factors that cause that. And ladies and gentlemen, as I'm telling you these factors, do not joke with them. Don't say you are fit and fiddle. Just say that you are exercising every day, because I can guarantee you over 12,000 footballers have died and they have their personal doctors apart from the team doctors. If you have a problem of heart-related issue in your family, you could die of cardiac arrest anytime, even when you are the best fitter. So if you have it in your family, that's genetics. It can happen to you anytime when you are driving, even when you are sleeping, you will not wake up again because you have it in your family. I'll be telling you how to handle all of this, by the way. Okay. Now, so it means that if your father or mother are hypertensive, it means that you could have cardiac. Remember, please, I'm not talking about heart attack. I'm talking about cardiac arrest. Heart attack, it can happen, it will sustain you. Heart attack is just, a blockade, okay, a flow. But this one, the entire heart is gone. If you have had previous heart attack before, it means that the possibility of you having cardiac arrest is very high. Don't joke with that. I'll show you how you handle that. If you have any coronary disease, high blood pressure, You could have cardiac arrest easily. You could just fall, even when you are watching a movie, even when you are eating, even when you are dancing, or exercising. Okay, okay, Professor Mills, Amisa Atta. Okay, and these are people that you know, not to even talk about people you don't know. You could die. You could die. It doesn't matter your age. Like I told you, the past 1 month, I have seen 7 people. Okay? The past 1 year, I have seen 7 people between the ages of 14 and 42 die of cardiac arrest. Now, the heart valve, if you have any heart valve disease, that can also cause this cardiac arrest. Now, when I talk about heart valve, one or more of the valves in your heart, okay, when it's not working, then you have that. See, your heart has 4 valves, okay? And what happens is that they keep the blood flowing. They keep the blood flowing in the correct direction. Okay? In some cases, what happens is one or more of the valves, they don't open or close very well. And this can cause the blood flowing through your heart, okay, to your rest of your body. It can disrupt it. And that is a heart valve disease. If you have been to the hospital and the doctor has told you something like that, then you should take it seriously. Now, if you are a male, the likelihood of you having cardiac arrest is higher than your wife or a female. If you are on certain drugs, and there's so many antihypertensive and anti-diabetic drugs, if you're on any of the antihypertensive, anti-cancerous, anti-diabetes drugs, the tendency of you having a cardiac arrest is higher. In fact, research shows that you are 92% chances of getting a cardiac arrest. If you have diabetes, I've mentioned that already. If you are obese, okay, if you are very obese, okay, if you have weight problem, cholesterol problem, you are likely to have a cardiac arrest. Okay? And if you have hemochromatosis, okay, hemochromatosis is a medical condition where too much iron build up in your body. You have too much iron in your body. And this excess of iron, when you have them in your body, okay, they will now translate into the liver, the skin, the heart, and then the joint. If you have too much iron in your body, the likelihood of you having a cardiac arrest is very high. And if you're an alcoholic, you like so much alcohol, you could suffer from cardiac. So how would you know that you are about to have cardiac arrest, or you could have cardiac arrest? How do you know? This is it. Sometimes there are signs that people ignore. That's the problem. That's why even if you rush them, they die in the car or they die before they get to the hospital. One is when you have general weakness or fatigue. If you're the kind of person who is having general weakness or fatigue, don't joke with that. Master, I'm always or higher. I'm always hyperactive. I'm always high. I'm always, okay. When you have that weaknesses in your body, don't tolerate it. 2, chest pains, ouch. It's not like, you know, like when you hurt your hand and it's like your hand is paining you, sometimes you feel the pains in your chest. Okay? Even sometimes you do, you try to stretch your chest. Okay? And every time you feel like, and you feel pains in your chest, do not ignore that. It is the symptom of that. You got to go quickly to talk to the doctor. If you have shortness of breath like dyspnea. Okay? So sometimes when you are climbing something, you have that shortness of breath, especially those who go to the mountain for Saturday walk. Sometimes when they are climbing, they now begin to have shortness of breath. Massa, you could have cardiac arrest. Okay? And you begin to see that you are exerting yourself. Don't joke with that. Don't toy with that. It can affect you. When you have heart palpitation, it's a symptom of cardiac arrest. If you have irregular heartbeat, sometimes your heart is beating, boom, boom, boom. Another time is so cool, irregular, then you could have it. And then when it's getting closer, these are some of the things. Unexplained wheezing. So sometimes the person is breathing, but the person is breathing in a wheezing way. You see, that wheezing sound is coming out of the person. That person is about to fall and die. And if a person faints, if a person is lighthearted or feels dizzy, you are playing football, you feel dizzy. You are walking, you feel dizzy. You are writing a memo, you feel dizzy. You are driving, you feel dizzy. You have something that is going to tell you that you have cardiac arrest. You just don't ignore that. And when you have edema or swelling, okay, see, edema is those kind of swelling that is caused by fluid. So you have some fluid trapped in your body's tissue. It can be your hand, it can be your legs. So you have some fluid that are trapped. Sometimes it becomes even bigger, like elephantiasis. Sometimes you feel like when the women are pregnant, you know the way their legs begins to actually swell. When you are beginning to see symptoms like that, that is a symptom of cardiac arrest, and you don't ignore that. So, ladies and gentlemen, these are some of the things that are the symptoms. Now, I want you to watch this footballer. It just happened this year. They were playing football. The gentleman is playing football all right. Please let your eye go to the end of the screen, not the immediate part here, but the end of this, where they've written the Qatar Airways there. And watch carefully what almost happened to Christian Eriksen. It can happen to anybody. Anybody. He was put on invertible defibrillator, okay? And that was his end. Okay. Okay, so now the ball goes to the throw. This is a guy. Watch him carefully at the far end. Watch him. Okay, now he falls down, and that was it. That is a cardiac arrest. You didn't see that. So I just want to go back a little and watch what happens. This footballer, he falls down. Okay, let me just go back a little again. Watch how he falls down without even realizing. And now I want you to watch his eyes when he falls down. You see, his player did not even notice. His colleague player did not even notice. Watch his eyes. His eyes popped out of their socket. Okay? And that's it. This is where most people die in Africa, because they don't have it. They don't have, look at the rush, okay? They are rushing with invertible defibrillator. They are rushing with anything to sustain the person, CPR, anything that has to be done. They are rushing to do that. But Africa, people will run away rather from you. They will run away because they feel you are coming to do them juju. Okay. Cardiac arrest can happen to anybody at all. You could die even in your sleep. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, how do we prevent it? How do we deal with this problem so that we don't encounter it? Now remember, this is caused generally by a buildup, generally. Okay? About 79% of it is caused generally by a buildup of accumulated stress over the years. But you don't see stress. You don't see it. Some don't even believe they have that stress. And then over time, it explodes into that level. How do you deal with it? Well, first thing, maintain a healthy weight. If you have weight problem, don't joke with it. Deal with it. Okay, you have pot belly. Don't say, oh, that's how I am. Don't joke with it. Eat wonderful modified diet. And I'm not talking about posh meal. Okay. In Africa, we have one of the best diets. Eat them. Okay. Eat leaves. Make sure that every time you are eating anything, you have some vegetables. It means that if you are eating your fufu and banku, which don't require vegetables, when you finish, have some vegetables on the side. Limit your intake of caffeine. If possible, stop. Okay, because over time they build up and then they cause this problem. Get enough sleep. Get enough sleep. And enough sleep doesn't mean that you should get enough sleep necessarily in the evenings. You can get enough sleep in the mornings, in the afternoons, not just in the evenings. And then manage stress. And I can tell you, I've just shown you one of the ways you can manage your stress. Okay. When you feel under pressure, when you know you're under pressure, you know, okay, do this. Breathe in through your nose, breathe in through your nose for every day, 3 times in the day. Do this. Do the breathing so much that you can't even do anymore. It's like you are choked. Breathing. And then bring it out, not through the nose, but through your mouth. Bring it out, not through your nose, but through your mouth. I'm telling you, if you continue to do this, you are fine. You are fine. These things are not going to cramp up on you. A lot of people don't do this. A lot of doctors don't teach their people to do it. They feel that you need to have the heart attack before, or you need to have hypertension before they advise you on this. But don't wait for that to happen. Okay? Limit your alcohol intake. Limit your alcohol intake. And if you need some support, get some support. For those of you who have hypertension or diabetes or heart-related problem, ensure that you always have support from family members, okay, or friends who are going to support you in case of anything. Don't smoke. And don't smoke. And that means that if you are by fire, anytime you are by fire, gas, all of those things, is still another way of smoking. Okay, so stay away from these things over time. Your heart will now become a macho of itself. And then use the ribosome. Okay, use the ribosome technology. Now, if you are here and you don't know what a ribosome technology is, speak to somebody who invited you here. And take that ribosome plant technology, okay, every day, use it. Every day, use the ribosome technology, because what's happening is that you're protecting your heart. The heart is the most powerful organ. You want to protect the slightest thing, and that heart is just falling off. So use the ribosome. Okay? That is what I've been able to use and sustain a lot of people, over 10,000 people. Okay? Recommended it for them, okay? And many of them have now bypassed their 80 years mark because they consistently use the ribosome. Use the ribosome. Drink the ribosome drink. Drink the ribosome fuel. And fuel is because what the ribosome is going to do is that it's going to power the heart muscle. It's going to elevate the electrical systems and allow the blood to flow. Okay, and the body is going to be able to always functioning all the time. When your body's stress level is even high and you take the ribosome, it reduces the stress margin. It distresses your body because stress is a toxin. Stress is a toxin. And so as you take the ribosome technology, what it does is that it increases your body's ability to detoxify all toxins from the body, including stress. Ladies and gentlemen, knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. I have given you all the information that you need, but if those who do not take note, see, we cannot prevent so many problems, but we can prevent those that we can prevent. Tell your family, tell your friends, health is the most precious commodity on earth. Those that have joked with their health, there's a rich man that I know, an engineer, who was having a lot of real estate. Okay? I told him, get the ribosome. He told me, I don't need these things. He died 4 months ago. Okay? He died. And the thing is that so many people build their families, they build their businesses, they build their careers, they build jobs, they build their houses, and they don't build themselves. They don't build the body that is carrying them across places. How can you make that mistake of your life? How could you do that? You build everything and everybody except yourself. Build you. Anything that is carrying you up and down is you, that body. And remember, that body is not a body, it's cells. 50 to 60 trillions of cells are inside that body. Every cell needs attention. Every cell needs attention. That's why I normally recommend the ribosome, because what happens is that it deals with cells. So you got to protect yourself. Okay? Don't stop chasing jobs upon jobs, that your boss, that you are killing yourself for, that your manager, that you are killing yourself for. If you die today, they will replace you tomorrow. That exams, and I have exams, and I have exams, and I'm studying, and I'm studying. If you die today, that's it. Your family members are going to take your property. Protect yourself. I've seen so many deaths, and this is not normally the topic I wanted to treat today. I wanted to treat this topic later next year, but I'm seeing so many deaths, and I can't help. And these deaths are all these things. COVID-19, so many people are dying, not because of COVID-19. They are dying because of sedentary life. They are dying because they are not doing exercise. They are dying because they are eating junk food. They are dying because they are stuck on their mobile phones and becoming sedentary, not exercising. People are dying not because of COVID, but because of the consequences of COVID. Knowledge is necessary. Your health is the most precious commodity you have. If you are gone, all your dreams perish with you. So stay afloat, stay well, and protect yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dr. Sari. I'm out. Now, anybody who has any question, this is the moment. You can raise your hand if you have any question about anything that I've just discussed today. Please feel free. And